Matty, you doing much out here today?
Yeah, obviously just having a look at the Optus Crows Cup, which is a great event. Heaps of participants, and yeah, it's a beautiful day for it too, so nice.
And what are your tactics heading into the draft tomorrow?
Yeah, we're really fortunate. We were able to draft, obviously it's a state-based draft, so we've had really strong AFLW performances earlier in the year, and so the majority of our list will come out of that, which is great.
Do the girls who are going to get picked up know they're going to be picked up?
They've got a pretty good idea, yeah.
So how many picks will you have tomorrow?
8. Yeah, so we get eight new players in, which is a pretty big turnover, but it's the nature of the competition at the moment. Obviously still in expansion phase, so the AFL mandate that we bring the lists back from 30 to 22, and so the good thing is that 8 new players will get a great opportunity next season.
Have you, I imagine you've been in touch with Erin Phillips. What's the latest update there about when
Yeah, Erin Watch. She's going really well. She's 6 months into her recovery. She's an amazingly committed, dedicated athlete. So if anyone will get back, it'll be her. But equally, it's a big injury that she's coming back from. So we'll wait and see.
She'll just be joining the group when pre-season starts at whatever level she's at?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so she won't. When pre-season starts, we're not sure exactly when that is yet, but we'll find that out soon. But whenever that is, she won't be fully through her rehabilitation, so she'll just continue her program.
And will your role continue much the same next year, balancing, head coach with the AFLW team and also ruck coach with the men?
I like balancing, so something similar.
How did that go this past season? Obviously,
it was
fantastic, but
obviously, the men's season wasn't what we wanted, but in terms of the role itself, it was great. I'm best job in footy. I get to be across both programs and have an involvement with great athletes in both programs. So yeah, it's really good.
So, Doc, has that been sorted out with obviously Matty coming on board as senior coach, or what the assistants?
Yeah, no, it's not resolved yet. Matty Nick's just getting his feet under the desk, so we'll let him get it settled back into Adelaide, and all that'll play out over the next month or so, I'd imagine.
So you think you'll stay on board next year in that role? Or?
Well, we'll wait and see, mate. Yeah, it's as I said, it's an enjoyable role to be able to be part of both programs. So that'll be the intent, but we'll wait and see.
Do you anticipate there'll be many changes in the coach's box?
Well, I'm not much of an anticipator. I'll just sort of wait and see.
Getting back to the culture has been so good with the Crows women's team for 3 years now, and it's been a little bit different in the men's program. What's made this program so good?
Yeah, we're really fortunate. We've got some really experienced performers. Even though the competition's 3 years old, we've got experience in terms of life experience, and so therefore, they've set the tone. I've obviously been involved for 12 months, and I was really keen to ensure that we build on what they'd started. But it's pretty simple. They just work really hard, and they're really driven towards having success on field. But they treat each other with great respect off field as well. So it's a good place to be.
Is it frustrating heading into the draft and not knowing when the season's going to start yet?
It's not particularly frustrating. It'll play out pretty quickly, and I'm sure within a week I'd be surprised if we don't have a start date. The reality is it'll be the same for all the teams, and we're well prepared. Whenever they say go, we'll be ready to go. We'd love to know the date. I'm sure all the players would love to know the date, but we've got a rough idea.
Do you think you know where you're playing next year?
No, we don't know that much, do we? But there's a few things going on on that front in terms of some ground redevelopments. So obviously, we played our games at Nord and Unley last year, but Nord's undergoing a bit of a redevelopment, so it'll be a bit touch and go as to whether they'll be ready. So that'll play out in the next month or so.
The CBA not being finalised yet, are you guys able to train together, or how does that work?
No. Yeah, well, we're not. That's the reality. The players are really committed and professional, so they're all working on programs which we've helped design. But ultimately, no, they can't train as a team. So we're waiting for that moment of resolution so we can get back and get into it.
Now, Phil Harper's been quoted saying that you guys are looking for a mix of a couple of 18-year-olds and a couple of sort of over 18 from the age of 21 and 26 in the draft.
Yep.
How important is it to make sure that mix will sort of continue?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, fortunately the SANFLW form was really strong, and that enables us to pick a bit of a diverse group because yeah, we want to have some young talent coming through, but there probably is a bit of a gap in our list profile in terms of that middle band of aged player, because we've got a few over 30s and we've got some really good, exciting young talent, but there probably is a little gap. So the SNFLW will allow us to address that and probably balance out the list a little bit.
And what about the depth in SA?
Yeah, so I'm relatively new to the AFLW world, and so I'd watched a little bit of SNFLW in previous seasons. I went and watched a lot more this year. The observations of those that have watched it for 3 years really closely is that the standard has gone through the roof, and so that's really pleasing from a footy development point of view that we're able to draft from our local state-based competition and have great confidence that those players are going to be at the level.
You say we'll be ready to go whenever they're ready to actually tell us.
Let's go.
But surely like things like your pre-season program and that is designed to peak at a certain time without knowing. I mean,
yeah. Well, the positive is that the whole negotiation is based on the start date of the season. The actual number of weeks that are then going to be applied to that are pretty well known. So we can work backwards from that date pretty accurately. And as I said, we've done that. So as soon as they give us the date, we'll just roll out the program. We're ready to go.
Will your program vary much? I mean, last year you introduced a game style and it was hugely successful, dominant even. Are you planning to change anything of that, or just ensure that it's still instilled in the group that you get?
Yeah, well, 8 new players suggests that you're going to have to go back to the beginning a little bit, because obviously they weren't part of last season, and the reality is that it's been a fair while since we played, so probably some of our other players might have forgotten some of the stuff that we've covered as well. So we'll go back to the beginning and start again, but also we'll try to evolve what we did last year. There's no doubt that the standard of the comp is rising. It's going to keep rising really rapidly, and so therefore if you stand still you'll get bypassed pretty quickly. So we'll look to evolve.
Doc, Rhiannon Metcalf and Chloe Shear, how are they covering their ACL comebacks?
Yeah, so they're in a similar boat to Erin. Obviously Erin gets a fair bit of the attention, which is understandable, but so Rhiannon's 7 months in and Chloe's 6 months into their recovery. Yeah, we're hopeful on both fronts, but equally until the knees are 100%, we won't put them out there and risk them. The main emphasis with all of our players is that sort of long-term well-being. So, but we're confident that if we do everything right, there'll be a chance to play next season.
Is it tough, I suppose, ask going into the season if you've got 3 players potentially, you take up 3 spots in the list with players that might not play at all?
Yep, so that's a challenge for us, no doubt. And the list's 30. Potentially 27 if those are not available. As I said, we're really hopeful they will be available, and if they're not, then we'll get on with the ones that are.
And where's Ruth Wallace? Is she going to be
playing? Yeah, so she comes back onto our list after having last season off. So we're super excited to have Ruth back. Enormously talented, and I know that she's really excited to be back part of the group and training really hard. So we're looking forward to that.
And first of all, Courtney Gum, she's going to be joining the club.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see what happens at the draft, but she's nominated for SA, so she's available, and the only reason she nominated was because I rang her up and asked her if she was looking at coming out of retirement. So there's a good chance she might be on our list, yeah.
And just on the men's side as well, have you sat down and spoken with Matty Nix?
I've had a couple of conversations just over the phone. I actually ran into him, we crossed paths in the hallway. He's obviously, his family's still in Sydney, but I saw him today, and he looked refreshed and ready to go, so I'm sure he'll do well.
Does it feel like a fresh start for the club after all this off-season overhaul?
Yeah, I think everyone attached to the footy club it's been a challenging period, and obviously, we've had to say goodbye to some really good people, but the reality of footy is that there's always change. Every season there's enormous change, and so we look forward to what's coming next. It should be exciting.
There's a lot of weight lifted off the shoulders after the last 2 years.
I'm feeling pretty good.
I mean, as a club, I suppose, from a men's program perspective.
Yeah, look, next season will be a really exciting time. Last season was challenging, but as I said, there's probably 17 other clubs that finished last season and aren't that happy about the result either. So we move on pretty quick.